Welcome to Martinis with Eddie. Tonight, I'm joined by the face and black heart behind hair, blonde hair, black hair. His name is Blake, and I'm so ready to talk with him about all things Bravo. So sit back, grab your drink, and let's spill some tea. Let's welcome Blake to the stage.
Hi,
Hello, my friend.
how are you?
How are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm okay. I mean, as you know, I got the Rona. I somehow made it almost 3 years without ever
Congratulations, you're one
getting
of
it.
the few.
I know, but she finally caught up with me. So I currently have Corona, but fortunately, you're safe through the computer. So
And you're feeling, fine, which is important. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like I was like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't feel like he has to come on. And I mean, I'm happy that you feel fine enough to like sit here and spill some tea with me because
yes,
we have so much to talk about.
definitely,
It
definitely,
has been a whole week of mess,
yes.
troll accounts. Oh my gosh,
I feel like troll accounts are the new black. It's like
it is the new black.
it's such a thing this year. I feel like every city has some sort of issue or storyline with troll accounts. It's very weird.
Yeah, let's start with Beverly Hills. We know that we had some troll situation. They spoke about it on the first few episodes. We're gonna focus on the last episode, but obviously they also mentioned it during that episode as well. So I want to know. We saw in the past few days that Diana allegedly found out who is the person behind these troll accounts.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Like on one hand, I think it's great if she's able to get to the bottom of it. Like that's awesome. Let's figure it out. But I feel like the only reason why she went out of her way to do this investigation is because people were accusing her of it. And so it's more to clear her name than to actually like discover who was really behind it all. So I don't know. I mean, part of me is like great, and then the other part of me is like I mean, who cares?
That was exactly what I posted when I found out. I was like, I mean, I need more info. I don't take Diana's words as like real because how can I take her words as like final when she was accused of it and when her friends Rinna and Erica were also accused of this troll attack on Garcelle's son.
Yeah.
So I can't take the words for like, okay, final. I need Garcelle to say, okay, yeah, it is true, or I'm doing my own investigation. These are the results. I
Exactly.
believe that source.
Yeah.
Diana as a source is very questionable because the motive also feels questionable as well. Like you said, um, she went out of her way to do this, not because she's doing it out of kindness, but she's
Yeah.
doing it to clean her own name.
Right.
And I mean, it's very weird the timing of the findings, the way that she went out of her way to do it,
Yeah.
and especially right after the reunion was done, it feels like a last grasp for that diamond because you know that diamond is almost gone for her.
Right. No,
I highly
absolutely.
doubt that she's coming back.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too, it's like you kind of said, I don't really trust her or her investigation. Like, how do we even know? Like, are we gonna see any sort of like documentation to support this stuff? Like, how do we know that she's not just kind of pointing the finger at a random fan account? Because we
That's
also
right.
know Diana historically has gone after the fan accounts. Like
Yes.
she all season long was going after fan accounts and accusing them of being black content creators and all of that kind of crap. And she sent out all of these cease and desists and just all of this shit. So like I don't know, she clearly is, she's been pointing her finger in the same direction the whole time. So this just seems like an easy way, like an easy misdirect.
I agree. I just read on TMZ that she's going after that parody account on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's like a fake Diana. There is
Right.
extremely funny. The posts are like in really broken English and
Right.
like it's kind of questionable for
Yeah.
many reasons, but
Yeah.
it's a parody account. What do you expect from that? So I was reading that she is going to sue or investigate who's behind that account to sue that person. Like you do understand that that is a parody account. Even the
Right.
description says it. And based on just logic, a parody account is just fake.
Well, and it's protected under law.
Under
Parodies
law.
are protected under the law. So, quick sidebar: I know a girl that I grew up with and went to high school with, and she went to USC for law school. And at some point while she was there, she has very, very polarizing opinions. She's a very, very vocal, like MAGA conservative. And so when she was there, this was kind of like right at the height of Trump running in 2016 and all of that. And so a lot of her classmates just kind of like started trolling her and making fun of her for it because she was like super vocal about it. And someone actually created a parody account of her, and she sued Twitter, she sued USC, and she sued John Doe, like the person behind this parody account. She lost all of the cases. She never ended up getting her law degree, and like no one will hire her. And to this day, like 6 or 7 years later, all she does is post blogs about how she was wronged by Twitter and all of this shit. But the moral of this story is, Diana, nothing is going to come out of this. Nothing.
That's right. That's right. And it's such a waste of time and money. Like, girl, put the effort towards something else.
Well, and she made a comment during the reunion when they were talking about this that rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't know if anyone else took it like this, but she made some comment about when she was being asked like why she's doing this investigation. And she said, well, I have the resources and that's my privilege that I can do this. And to me, it almost felt like a dig at Garcelle.
Yes.
Like saying like, well, because you can't get to the bottom of it, I'll just get to the bottom of it because I have the money behind me. And so again, to me, that seems like another misdirect because like she could be doing anything with that money. Like, how do we know that this is a legitimate investigation or just her throwing money at a problem and hoping that it, you know, I mean, maybe she's pulling a Kathy Hilton. Who knows? I don't know. And I love Kathy, I do, but.
I mean, it's insane because I thought from the beginning that maybe she was not that interested on being a housewife because she felt so disconnected with the show, with the fans, you know, the constant attack on, you know, bloggers and Twitter accounts. It felt like she just wanted a way out. But with this behavior, it feels like she's really grasping for that last straw to stay on the show.
For me, you know? I think it's less about the diamond because she didn't come to the reunion. I feel like, you know, she wasn't at BravoCon. Like, I don't necessarily get that thirst from her of her wanting to be a housewife anymore. I think these are all last-ditch efforts to try and save her reputation. I agree. Truly believe she had no fucking idea what she was getting. Oh, can I cuss on this, by the way?
Of course.
Okay. So she had no fucking idea what she was getting into with the Housewives. I honestly feel like she probably never saw an episode of the show. And it was probably Asher who was like, "Oh, babe, you got to do it. I love that show," you know. And so she did, and it blew up in her face. She's, you know, hated by everyone. And the thing is like you can come back from that. Like, look at Camille Grammer. You know, like you can be the most hated housewife in history and somehow turn it around. But I think that she is just going to do whatever she can to try and save the little bit of like reputation she has left before she just disappears forever.
I agree. I mean, and you just made a point. I mean, let's talk about that. Asher being messier than she was doing the show. Like he fits with the housewife narrative better than she does.
Totally.
You know, like when he went to sing and he told Erica, like, "Bitch, don't read my notes." I was like, that is so
even the moment he's like playing the piano in his house and like he's like, "Oh, I didn't see all of you guys, all the camera crews there. Like I thought I was home alone." And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what you're doing. I really think that she might have been approached and was just like, I don't know, what is this? And he was like, "Oh yeah, we need to do this. This will be really great for us," meaning it will be great for him and his music career. But let's talk about that a little bit. Like, I'm not knocking the guy's talent at all. Like, I think he definitely has some musical talent for sure, but like his vision for whatever this solo project he's working on is, like these dragons he's fighting and all these weird CGI videos, like I do not understand what this concept is, who is his audience, what type of pop star is he trying to be, because I do not.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me like late 90s, early 2000s pop people trying to be like futuristic, But like
Yeah.
we are past
This is
that phase.
well, and it's like the reverse of that because he's like going back to the medieval times, you know?
Yeah.
It's
And the
so weird.
microphone was the sword. I'm like
Right.
that. Like
Well,
what?
and what's funny about it is I don't know if you've ever gone and like looked him up or anything, but his music, like even just a year or two ago, was completely different. Like he has like rap songs out and like music videos where he's like you know, by a pool with like a bunch of like, you know, his buddies and girls in bikinis, and like it's like a totally different vibe. And I honestly feel like that would have translated better for him being like in this Bravo verse a little bit. That like everyone is just so confused every time he puts up a dragon video. We're all like, what is happening?
I wish. I mean, me and my messy Bravo mentality. I really wish he performed a BravoCon and came out with his like knight armor
Oh my god,
suit,
right?
like performing some random song and just
Yeah,
doing the most of it because in true Bravo mess, we love that. We love the mess. We like when things are random. And he had the chance to like somehow be interesting because I mean he is messy in the fun way, kind of like in the
yeah,
way that I mean I'm not saying anything allegedly or anything. I'm not trying to say that he's gay. I'm not trying to say that. I just make that clear. I don't want to
right,
get sued. But he has this very shady, sassy way of like behaving, especially
yeah,
with the girls, that
right.
I feel like he would have been a star of BravoCon.
Yeah, no, I honestly feel like whatever happened, and I don't know if it was the edit, I don't know if it was how Diana played it, I don't know if it was just like the Erica Jane of it all. Like the past 2 years, it's just the storylines have been very like micro focused on Erica Jane, and so we don't really get to see a lot of like personal storylines from the other women, so maybe that
Yeah,
affected it. But whatever it is, going on the Real Housewives was a really big missed opportunity for Diana and Asher. This could have
agreed.
been huge for them had they played it differently, had the edit been different, had whatever. It could have been huge. I agree. I think that they could have been like a really funny, weird couple that we like love to watch because it's like so ridiculous. And he's, you know, again, it's just it's too bad, but at the same time, I like really don't like Diana, so I'm kind of like, you get what you give. I don't know.
I feel like when it came down to the Diana of it all, if she came to the show without an agenda,
Mhm.
she will have a better opportunity to shine as a housewife.
Yeah,
Because since day one, she was, targeting Sutton for no reason.
yeah,
But we as viewers understand why. Because if she came on the show as Lisa Rinna's friend, the one that fed her all the stories of what's happening
right,
and gave her the ammunition to go after Sutton, I mean, it didn't translate well. It took away a lot of the opportunity she had to actually get to connect with the other people on the show beside her two minions. You know what I'm
totally.
saying? And look what happened. As soon as the show was wrapping up, I had a sense that even when I gave up on that friendship, not like gave up on the friendship, but like on the TV show friendship because she didn't see Diana moving forward
Right,
for another season.
totally.
You know, on the reunion there was no really real interaction between Rena and Diana.
I mean,
Diana,
Dinah was on the reunion for maybe like
5 minutes.
7 minutes. Yeah, it was. I don't think that that's ever happened before with like a full-time housewife where they're on for like such a blip, you know. And I think they purposely did it at like the very end of the first episode and then the very beginning of the second episode, so that way at least she would be in two parts
Both.
of the reunion. But it was like 3 minutes here and 4 minutes here, and that was that, you know.
I agree. Talking about Rena and the Erica overall, I mean,
Yes.
we're gonna move forward to that right now because I feel like we need to talk about uh, Kathy versus the both of them and the way
Yeah.
that she was going hard. People on the internet are saying that Kathy Hilton was not as strong as people are telling. As some bloggers like myself felt like she came hard on them. because she didn't back down, and
Right.
she talked about the show on production terms, which has never done before on a housewife platform like on the reunion. Like she talked about contracts, talk about your contracts coming up. You were doing
Right.
everything you could, and all this stuff. So I think she did a great job on standing her ground and making her point. Yes, the whole text, like deleting the text that Reina said, I have the text, and they were kind of arguing about it. That was kind of like what I was like, maybe there's a little misunderstanding on how
Yeah.
technology works on Kathy's side,
Well,
perhaps.
but the thing about that is I saw a lot of people, who were like, Kathy, we know that you just deleted the text. Rinna still has them, blah, blah, blah. But did Rinna show us that she had? I
No.
don't think she actually showed it. And if you've been like following along in the news, like the Bravo news, the past couple days, it's come out, what was in those envelopes of receipts that Rinna had that they never showed on the reunion. And apparently she had two envelopes, and one of them was uh, Aspen receipts, and that was all supposedly pages and pages of text conversations between her and Kathy, between her and Erica. So like, why didn't she whip them out?
That's right.
And Andy and Crystal. Now Crystal was she on Danny Pellegrino's podcast, I think. And both she and Andy said, like, yeah, Rinna she never even opened the envelope up. So why wouldn't she have done it right then and there when Kathy's pulling up her cell phone? If she has an envelope full of text messages, whip them out, So
Right.
I don't know. All of it is like so questionable to me. But if you have receipts, if you have like proof, you'd think that you would have shown it.
Show them, and trust me, production will show it too. This is like messy, perfect hook for the next season. This
Yeah.
is gonna be the perfect situation for production to even like crank up the heat on the reunion. And if they didn't show it, I highly doubt that something important was in those envelopes.
Right.
And the fact that Rena was saying that Andy was lying, or saying that he was trying to twist the story, saying that she only had Elton John's tickets receipts in
Right.
the envelope. I'm like, is she really going after Andy now, who basically can fire her right there? I'm like,
And he told her during the reunion, like, why do you like don't come after production? Like, do you think that
yeah.
that's gonna be good for you?
And she's been doing it a lot in the past few days. Like she showed a photo of the shoot. And this is another thing. I love Louis. She was the only redeeming quality that Reina had the
Right.
whole entire time that she has been on the show.
Yeah.
Like maybe the few interaction that she had with her mom, the way that her mom was always this calming voice to Reina's madness and all this stuff. But this show is not about Louis.
Right.
This is not the Louis's show. They gave her roses, her flowers during What Will Happen Live. They mentioned her during the reunion. She had her, special, send up on the show during the actual show. I mean, that was exactly what Bravo did for Teresa's parents.
Right.
So it's nothing like I will be complaining about, and she hasn't stopped complaining about how Bravo treated her mom's death.
Yeah.
And she even showed like this picture that she wanted to show during the reunion, and like
Right.
nobody cares right now.
And it
That's
was
not important.
It was a picture that she had in her dressing room, and so she's like, "Why didn't they show this?" And I was like, "Because they probably didn't know it was there." Like,
Yeah,
who
because
cares?
it's not relevant.
Right.
It's not relevant. It is cute. Show it on your Instagram. Show it on your story while you're getting ready in your dressing room. Yeah, that whoever is your 5, 6, 7 fans you have left, they might want to see that. But as a reunion, we don't need to see this. We don't need to see this picture of Louis. It's not relevant.
Yeah, and that's kind of my big thing about Rinna in general is just the like. I feel like she's a huge hypocrite, and in that, all this season she's been crying about how I feel like she's been using Lois as a scapegoat, and she's crying about how her mom's death isn't getting the right focus or the right attention, and yet she's brought it up, week after week in every episode as an excuse for her screaming at someone. but I, you know, and I know this isn't, I'm not like, you know, the first person to ever have this thought, but it's like, what about Lisa Vanderpump? Like, she was going through the loss of her mom and her brother, and you guys were terrible to her. And not only that, but like, they still continue to mock her any chance they get. Anytime she comes up, they act like she's the Antichrist. And so it's like, it's hard for me to sympathize with Lisa Rinna. And obviously I do. I like don't wish anyone's, like, I don't wish anyone losing their mom. That's terrible.
That's right.
But it's hard for me to really sympathize with her when I've seen her not, like, she's not showing sympathy to anyone. In fact, none of those girls really showed sympathy to Lisa Vanderpump.
Nobody did.
Nobody did.
And it's really sad because talking about Lisa Vanderpump, when she lost her brother, it wasn't a natural case. You know, Lewis's path was, you know, she was an older woman. I mean, she lived a happy life, and
she's like 100. She literally was like 100.
So, if anything, we should celebrate the fact that she had a long, healthy life. You know, surrounded by people who loved her. And on the other hand, we have Vanderpump, who lost her brother from suicide, and he was going through depression and all this stuff. That is something that you truly take hard because you want to help that person, and you can see how her behavior even changed during that season because she was struggling with that inside. She didn't want to show it too much in the show, and the women, instead of giving her, you know, the sympathy and the empathy to help her get through the filming, she used the opportunity to kick her out of the show.
Right. Well, and that's again what's so weird to me is, like, you know, they couldn't cut her any sort of slack. And even if she did, say she did sell the story to Radar Online or call Radar Online and vent to them and say, this bitch Dorit, you need to get this story out there, whatever. Like, the fact that at the very least, Kyle couldn't be like, look, like, whether you did that or not, like, I understand you were going through a really rough time. Your head wasn't in the right space. Like, that's what they all are saying to Rinna this entire season. And let's look at the parallels. Like, it's a woman named Lisa who lost family members. And both of them at one point during the season are being accused of selling a story to the press. And but only one of them, Lisa Rinna, has also been like screaming at everyone all season long. Like, Vanderpump never did that, ever.
That's right.
So it's just weird to me that they choose to show one so much grace and the other one didn't get a stitch of it, you know? Like, just at least be even with how you're dealing out your empathy, I guess.
I agree 100%. I also, there's somebody left a question on Twitter, so I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
They said, do you think your Google post with the misspell inadvertently started that timeline of effect and event? I think it did. It was a brilliant post, but I kind of, that's where it started. That's talking about the post where I did with the Garcelle misspell. And Garcelle liked it, and she said, like, not the misspelled name.
Yeah.
And that was screenshot by Diana, and that's snowball the whole situation of the trolls, you know, as we were talking before. I'm gonna give my side of the story, and then I want to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah.
When I posted that, it was an innocent post that it was funny because, you know, Garcelle mentioned the misspell. So when she told Diana, Google me, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna Google Garcelle misspell and just post it because it's funny. I'm pretty sure Diana will do this if she was looking for Garcelle. Right. So obviously you saw what happened. It was a screenshot. Diana shared that post on Instagram, and she made it about her miscarriages, which has nothing to do with it. I don't know how these two stories connect, the misspelling and the miscarriage. I was really confused by that. But then, like 2 or 3 days later, the whole bot situation happened to Jax. So I don't think I personally triggered the whole situation, and I hope I didn't. But it definitely triggered Diana in some level to the point to share it and make it about her miscarriage. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't your fault. I feel like there's such like a miscategorization miscategorization. I don't know if that's a word, but people miscategorize what is like trolling and what isn't. And this clearly was a situation of like the joke flying over Diana's head. Like you weren't saying anything rude or nasty. You were literally taking something that is from the show and like making it into a Twitter joke. Right. Exactly. Right. And so, yeah, I don't think that you did anything wrong there. I mean, the only thread that could really connect all of that is if Diana is behind the bots, you know, and so she saw that and it like pissed her off and she was like, oh, well, I can make fans protect me too, or whatever, you know, whatever the thought process was. So, I mean, if people think that that kind of was like the catalyst, then they also think that Diana then hired the bots. So again, and she's responsible. You didn't do anything. You didn't tell her to buy the bots. You didn't send her the link to bots.com. You like just you made a funny joke. Clearly it was funny. Garcelle thought it was funny. The only person who should have been offended by that is Garcelle, and she wasn't because it's funny.
It's funny.
And I feel like that is what has started to be missing from the Real Housewives is those kind of like really silly, petty fights that we can take and like turn into punchlines and turn into memes, you know? That's and right. Like that's what we need on the Real Housewives. Like we need more like you broke the bow off my cake. We need more of like those.
You broke sprinkle cookies.
Right, or like friendship contracts, like things like that. And I feel like the Garcelle being spelled wrong was Garcelle's way, like her mentioning that was her way of trying to like find humor in this like really long, very heavy text message that Diana sent to everyone that made them all really uncomfortable. But like there was one little nugget of comedy that she could pull out of there, you know?
That's right.
And again, it wasn't making fun of Diana. It was like making fun of herself. Like, oh my God, look, like, you know, yeah.
And it's funny because a lot of people, I mean, took it that way, and some other people made it this whole situation that it was this dark situation, like with the miscarriage. I was like blown away, and I hope people
see how that connects.
I hope people, you know, realize this too. That even though, you know, we have to have the hard conversation and the hard topic conversation, especially when there's like some kind of like microaggression or racism on the show, we have to talk about it because that's part of reality. But also we have to remember that half of the reason of why we watch this show is because A, we want to watch rich people having rich people problems, and B, we want to have light, funny moments. And the reason why we create content as well. Like we don't create content just to point fingers at who's being who or who's being evil, whatever. No, that's part of it because guess what? Those are personality traits on some of the housewives. But a lot of the time, we just want to see them arguing over some, I don't know, some dumb cookie situation, you know, right. Or like, or about putting soap in on a chicken, right. Like, you know, like a Jeremy Maloof and Lisa Vanderpump. Like those times were like, okay, we were making fun of rich people issues, and that's why we watched this show.
Exactly.
So to wrap Beverly Hills, why would you want the franchise to go when they start filming? I mean, I heard they're gonna put on a pause until January 2023.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that even maybe taking an even longer pause. I mean, they don't need to like go full Roni and take 2 years off, but give it some time. Give us some time. This was the season that just never ended. It literally started in the spring, and like here we are. It's November, and it's just wrapping. So give us some time to breathe. But also, like, I feel like when they get into these cycles of like the reunion wraps and then they just pick up cameras and start filming again a month later, it's like we already know where they're all coming back from. We literally, like, I feel like it would be good, especially for Beverly Hills, for them to take like maybe even 5 or 6 months and let like some of these dynamics like naturally shift and like let some of the stuff cool down. Let's see what happens when these women don't have cameras on them for 6 months and then they come back, you know?
I agree.
Because I feel like that's the problem, especially in Beverly Hills, is they're all actors. They're all playing these roles. They have their like Fox Force 5 alliance behind the scenes. And maybe if we gave them some off time with cameras down, there would be some real stuff that would happen. And when they came back, they'd be like, yeah, the Fox Force 5 is over because all of this shit went down, or like whatever it may be. Maybe Garcelle and Sutton split up, who knows? But if they're just in this constant cycle of like film, let the show air, and then immediately film, like they're just always kind of feeding into these same alliances. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I also feel like I think that they should do some recast shakeup. Um, they don't have to fire every single housewife on the show, but even by removing Rinna, let's say just give Rinna one season to like breathe and stop being Rinna and think about what she wants to portray in the future. It will help the show because you will see other people acting differently or having a different type of interaction with the other housewife. For example, I will bet that Erica will be a whole different person or act in a different way if Rena wasn't her like partner in crime on the show. I want to see Erica without Rena. I'm more
Yeah.
interested on a good TV show evil villain than a plain evil villain because
Yeah.
it's two different things. My issue with Erica is mainly her legal issues, and the way that she's handling them. Like if she didn't have that on the table, I was never a fan of her. I don't care for her, to be honest. I always felt like she was uh, somebody who didn't bring anything to the table beside lip syncing at every gay bar in WeHo. That was her whole
Mhm.
thing. That was
Mhm.
every season her whole thing until she
Right.
got into his legal problems. But at least I can see, okay, she can give me some good villain, moments, like good TV villain moments.
Yeah.
With Rena, since she got on the show, it's like one problematic situation after another one. And I
Yeah.
think it's time to cut that umbilical cord, let her go her way for a couple of seasons, and maybe people are gonna miss her, or maybe we will realize that yeah, maybe she was the issue this whole entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. I think we need some time away from Rena for sure. My thing is like, I don't really think that these shows are meant to have heroes and villains. Like, I don't think it necessarily works when you have someone who is like playing a villain. We need them to be like really layered, nuanced characters. And I feel like, what Rinna and Erica have become is just like rage and repeat and rage and repeat and rage and repeat. And that to me isn't interesting anymore. It's like the Kelly Dodd effect. Like I just thought it was the same thing with Kelly Dodd. Like I don't need to see her scream and be racist and problematic every episode and then apologize the next episode and then do it again the next episode. And like I'd rather see real relationships that are layered and nuanced and like have ebbs and flows, and maybe like, oh yeah, that was kind of awkward or icy, or like, oh, do they like me or don't they like me, versus like, literally biting each other's heads off. Like it can get to that. I feel like there's a time and a place and like a natural escalation for like these big blow up fights, but they just feel very forced. Like these women either are playing a villain or they've become a villain. Either way though, it's like we have to like some things about them. Otherwise, like we just don't want to watch them. And that's the problem, especially with Rinna right now, is
I
no one
agree.
wants to watch her.
Well, so that would be Beverly Hills this season. Oh my gosh, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm traumatized.
I know, me too.
I have PTSD, and I think Bravo needs to start sending me checks to go to a therapist after all the trauma that I've been going through after this whole season.
We
So
probably need to file like a class action lawsuit or something. We've all been affected.
yeah, like please, minimum send me SVIP tickets for BravoCon every year.
Right?
I don't ask for money; just send me the tickets, and I'll be fine.
agree.
Moving to a different franchise with a better dynamic when it comes down to the show, Potomac.
Oh yeah.
That's what I love Potomac. Their ladies, they all are clocked, working hard for their paycheck, and it doesn't feel like this heavy cloud on our shoulders.
Yeah.
Let's start with Robyn because we gotta talk about Robyn and her whole situation with this Playdate. But honestly, that Playdate was so low budget,
It's
was
so low
so
budget.
embarrassing.
But I wouldn't expect anything more from Robyn. Although she finally, excuse me, the Rona, she did finally get like a nice house. Finally, her house is beautiful. So I'll give her that. But yeah, the play date was awful. I thought it was really weird how she went about like inviting Wendy's kids
Yes,
through
yes.
Candace. I wouldn't have sent my kids either, you
Yeah, me
know.
neither.
And then Robyn's response to that being like, so it wasn't about the kids, and it's like, no, it's still about the kids. It's about the fact that like I'm not going to send my kids off to some play date with someone who like can't even pick up
Doesn't
the
like
phone.
me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like, I mean, honestly, Robyn, I mean, if you're having all the latest kids to meet and have a play date, be the bigger person for the kids. You don't have to like Wendy, but this is beyond Wendy. This is Wendy's kids coming to play with the other kids.
Right.
And like Karen said, like, I mean, it was shady. It was weird to do that. And honestly, there's no excuse. I know
Right.
Robyn tried to explain that she told Wendy to send the kids with Candice and all this stuff, but I don't feel like that was good enough.
No, neither.
That for that date, she needed to swallow her pride and her issue with Wendy and just invite her to come. It
Especially
wasn't that big of a
too,
deal.
like, you got, it's a show, it's a job, like you're there, you're all supposed to be there. Like it's let's stop pretending like we think that you guys are like just
Best friends.
right. No, we understand the situation, so just like invite her, you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we got that interaction with Candice and Giselle. I
That was
died
good. Yeah.
when she said like, and I have it right here. I'm gonna read it verbatim. Giselle is invited to find the very blackest part of my ass and kisses while she looks for it. It will just pass her over. Next color. The way that I screamed when she said that, I think I woke up my neighbor and he lived like a couple of miles away,
Oh my God.
from my house.
Yeah,
I
no,
love Candice Reeves.
Candace has the best reads. She never fails. I mean, what was it? Was it last week when she was like, not today, neck, not today, ankles, like all that.
Not to the saying, not to the neck,
Yeah.
not to the ankle.
I mean, it's so bad. She like is constantly with the like the body shaming, but at the same time, it's like they land so hard, and you're just like, oh God, like she just murdered you.
I know. It's I mean I like you said, like there is some body shaming in reads that I also like kind of like and we will talk about that one on Salt Lake City too, because on the preview for next episode there is a read from Jen Shah towards Chris calling him a, I don't want to, I think it's like something about being an elf on a
Like
shelf.
a fat elf on a shelf. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I wish he didn't said the word fat because that's kind of like body shaming,
Right.
but that's what it makes that read so
So funny.
crazily funny
It's
and
so funny.
cringy.
And it's just like such a good image too, like the elf on the shelf. It's just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it honestly was the play that was just a mess. I mean, it was basically take the kids to the closest park and just let them run around in circles and do nothing else.
Robyn had no idea like what these games were that she had set up. She like didn't understand anything.
Like, and bring some sandwich. You don't have to have a cater. Bring some goddamn sandwich. People get hungry.
Totally.
I was like,
Crazy.
I bare minimum when I invite people to my house, I at least have a charcuterie board ready for them to pick and eat something. Do something for your people, you know.
Totally.
Don't just assume that it's just about the kids. You invited their parents too. Have a little champagne or something. That's just like, I don't know, hosting 101 people. If
It
you're watching,
reminded me of like Jackie from New Jersey. Remember when she threw that birthday party for her son and everyone was just like, what? Like, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to eat, there's nothing to drink. Like, what is
this? What we're doing here?
We're literally hanging out in your driveway.
Oh my gosh. Also in same play day, we noticed something. I want your opinion on this one because I've been intrigued to know. You know, when Charisse arrived to the play day, we noticed a weird shift on Karen's behavior and she decided to leave as soon as she got there. Yeah. Do you think that she left because Charisse arrived or because she really wanted to leave because she wasn't feeling so well?
I don't know. I mean, it could have been either. It's like so much funnier to think that it was because Charisse arrived, and like obviously that's how they played it up, and that's like great for TV. But like it really could have just been that she wasn't feeling well, and they're like, well, this is a funnier spin, you
Let's
know?
play it that way.
Yeah. So I don't really know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Karen. Um, but she's also kind of high maintenance, so I could totally see her just being like, "Oh, like I need to get out of here, my throat," you know, like I could see that. So
I mean, it's not the first time that she has played the high maintenance persona during
right,
an outdoor situation. You know, we have
totally,
seen it before. She complains about being outside, the heat, the
exactly,
water, the wig falling apart in one
right,
season too. So it's
yeah,
not the first time that we had seen that behavior. It's just easy to see how the editors played it in a way that made it seem like she left because of Cherise. I don't think she left because of her. I
yeah.
mean, uh, I do believe that Karen has the personality to face Cherise.
Well, and they
Right?
were at the event a couple episodes ago together,
Together.
right?
Yeah,
So and Karen didn't leave.
didn't
So
care. And she didn't even mind that she was there.
yeah,
I'm actually very curious to see if this comes up during the reunion and see how this plays out. Do you think that Cherise deserves to be back in
no,
the no?
I've never really thought she was. I never thought she like brought much to the table. I didn't think she was like a super interesting
I agree.
Potomac wife.
If I wanted somebody back, I want Monique back. I
Yeah,
think Monique has better housewife material, better moments. I mean, that umbrella moment is engraved in my
yeah,
brain
yeah.
forever to the point that whenever it's an umbrella, that's why it comes to my mind.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Yeah, I liked Monique a lot. Yeah, Charisse was just not. Yeah, even in the beginning, I didn't like love her.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. I mean, I appreciate her being back, but I even as a friend of, it seems too much for me to see her on my screen. Maybe like a guest on an episode too,
Right.
fine. To like talk about the Karens rumors, just if they
Yeah.
want to steer the pot on that storyline, fine. But seeing her all the time, I don't see the need for it.
That's why I love like how they've over the years they've brought back like Gina Keogh on Orange County, and she'll just pop in for an episode like once every 4 seasons. She'll just be like at the finale party, or like when Vicky needs a date to an event, she'll bring Gina Keogh, and like she's there, and you're like, oh, it's a familiar face, and maybe she like gets a couple lines in, but they're not like beating us over the head with her, because after all, like they're not on the show anymore for a reason.
That's right.
So we don't need to be beat over the head with them, but it is fun to kind of see old faces pop in and out here and there.
I agree 100%. Now we are done with the low budget play date. And I want to talk about the Ashley and Michael Darby overall
Yeah.
because towards the end of the episode, I was through the whole episode, we saw what she wrote that she wanted to pose either for him or the press, explain the situation. That was a messy ass editing.
Yeah.
When they even overimposed Michael like laughing and all those moments where he was being
Right.
awkward
Oh my
and
God.
weird.
I
It was
know.
such a messy editing.
I know.
And also towards the end of the episode, we find out that somebody leaked the story to the press. And here we go, another storyline with
Yeah.
leaking story to the press. It's like, what is Poppygate 2.0? It's crazy.
Honestly, yeah.
So, what do you think on the whole thing?
I mean, it's messy. It's like such an interesting thing that like normal folks like you and I would never have to worry about, like making a public statement about breaking up with someone. So I don't know. I really don't know how I would go about that. My take on the whole divorce is like good riddance, good for Ashley to like get out of there. I actually have an interesting take on them buying a house together. I know everyone thinks that that's like insane, but I actually think that she's really smart, especially because he's not buying it. They're buying it together under a shared LLC. So while everyone is saying like that's not a divorce, that's not a divorce, it's like no, but it's a business arrangement.
Exactly.
And if they're willing, if he's willing to like help her buy this house under an LLC, he can't just ever take it away from her. And it's going to be a really fucking nice house. Why would she not do that?
That's right.
Again, it would be completely different if Michael Darby was like, if like the title or the deed of the house was going to be with his name only and she wasn't going to be tied to it. But I think the fact that it's under a business is like a lot of protection for her.
Yeah.
And in like, it's weird to me that all of the ladies don't see it that way. Like, I get why they're like, well, you just need to like cut him off and like let it go, but she can't do that. They have 2 kids together. He will always be a part of her life. So if they can manage having businesses and having investments and doing that stuff for the benefit of their kids, and she gets to live in a nice house out of it, why the hell not, you know?
100%. I agree. I mean, the whole buying the house at the beginning, it sounded really strange to me, obviously, because they're
Yeah.
supposed to be going through a separation. So it didn't click with me. But when I heard LLC and all these terminologies, which I understand, like this is becoming a business transaction, not a
Totally.
marriage
Yeah.
transaction.
Exactly.
So at that point, I can start seeing why Ashley is doing it, because she's trying to protect herself in the case of the actual separation to happen.
Exactly.
And which is really even more interesting is the fact that she didn't want the story to leak to the press, not necessarily because she didn't want them to know that she was getting separated, but because of the business transaction.
Well, and if you look back at their relationship historically, like, hasn't it always kind of been a business transaction?
It always felt that way.
Haven't they always had like very specific like rules and regulations about what they can do? And like it never felt like their love or like romance was driving that relationship. It was more about like, these are the like, this is what I'm going to dictate and this is how we're going to operate, and like this, you got to clock in at this time, and you know, do your TikTok dances on your lunch break, like whatever. It never felt like love. It always felt like business. So to me, this is just another step forward.
Yeah, and talking about Ashley in relationships, I want to ask you a question, because this has been the hot topic for the past 2 weeks since BravoCon.
Yeah.
And it came back to the conversation from last night's episode, Watch What Happened Live, because Kyle and Luke from Winter House were there last night. I know you don't watch Winter House much.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you are aware that one of the cast members is having a relationship or like dating in some way Ashley, Luke. And he was asked last night how they were doing and if they're still talking after BravoCon, because I saw them during BravoCon. And if you ask me, they make a hot ass couple.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I mean, Ashley, if you are into Luke and Luke is into Ashley, I'm here for it, because that is an upgrade.
Oh yeah.
In so many levels.
Oh my God. So many levels. Yeah. No matter what Ashley does moving forward, it will be an upgrade.
Oh yeah. I mean, she truly started from with a really low bar when it came down to men with this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Darby, once again, is another person who I don't see any redeeming quality as a husband.
Yeah,
maybe as a friend or something, I can see something in the mix. But for the past few years, he's been very inappropriate, very weird, creepy in so many levels. It doesn't feel like he truly loved her, more like he just wanted her around.
Yeah. Well, and my thing too is like with Michael Darby, whatever you got, like I always understood that the two of them, Ashley and Michael, clearly had an arrangement. They clearly were both able to go sleep with whoever they wanted, and that's fine. The problem was he just couldn't like keep it together when the cameras were up, or like when you're at work. Like that is not anymore like your preferences or your desires. Now it's just like you're a creep. You know what I mean? Like right. if you can't keep your shit together while you're on the clock at work, like it's now an HR problem. It's not like, it has nothing to do with you and Ashley being in an open relationship and you being allowed to go flirt with people. Like you're actually like sexually harassing people. Excuse me.
And that is problematic in many levels.
Totally. So problematic.
Many levels. So I'm happy that Ashley is getting her fun with Luke. I want them to be together because it makes sense. They're young, they're fun. They were having so much fun during BravoCon. even if it was just because Ashley, I mean, if the end is pushing Ashley and look to do it for the cameras or for like
Whatever. I mean,
the
I'm sure they're having
gossip,
a great
who
time.
cares? And honestly, they are hot, both of them.
Yeah.
Like, look, is that one hot ass dude, and then you have Ashley, a stunning woman. I mean, that's like genetic fucking crazy pool right there. Like, if they
Right.
had
Well,
kids, they're gonna be stunning.
oh, totally. Well, and what else is super interesting about it is it's like, a Bravo crossover. And I don't know if we've ever had any like Bravo Lebs from two different worlds end up together. I mean, I guess Paige and Craig actually, but they were both on
Winter House
Summer
before.
House. Yeah,
Summer
yeah. So
House,
like,
yes.
so like
Summer
they
House.
they actually filmed together. But this would be it's like a like total crossover.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're at a really exciting place in like this time in the Bravoverse where there are so many crossovers happening and like so many worlds colliding, and it really does feel like a new thing within the past couple years. And part of it is like Bravo cons and stuff and seeing everyone mingling and meeting each other, but we also have Ultimate Girls Trip, which is like bringing all of these different worlds together.
On the gate.
Right, totally. We now have Taylor Armstrong
Going
on
to
Orange
OC.
County. And I also think what helps too is like all of these Bravo Lebs now also have like their own platforms and podcasts where they're bringing other Bravo Lebs on and talking to them. So like it's not just like the OC ladies only know the OC ladies and the Beverly Hills ladies only know the Beverly Hills ladies. Like now they really all know each other and are friends with each other. And like it's getting so messy. And I fucking love
And
it.
you know what? I love the Bravos allowing this to happen because I mean, obviously, we knew before that a lot of the ladies were friends from different cities, but they will never mention that ever because they
Right.
didn't
Or it would
want
be
to
like, oh,
break
I
the.
met them once. I met them once on a carpet, or I
Yeah,
met them once. We were filming a promo for Bravo, so I worked with them for a couple hours. But now they're actually like friends with each other.
I
And
mean,
it's
we're
really cool.
friends. Like we talk, we text, we
Yeah.
hang out. When I go to a city, I hang out with that person. I feel like Bravo before didn't want to break that fantasy of like little shows living
Right.
in their own little world. Now it's like a whole universe happening
Yeah.
with Bravo.
Exactly.
And talking about that Taylor moving to the OC,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you heard that it seems like she snagged that orange,
I hope so.
and I hope so too.
I think she's great, and I think if she puts in the work and she has a solid storyline, why not? We already know her, and like I think part of the whole thing with Friends sometimes is that it really is like their like test run, like they bring them in and it's like, well, we don't know how they're going to work out, we don't know how the fans are going to like them, so like we'll just have them be a friend and we'll figure it out down the road. But with Taylor, like she already has a fan base, we already know so much of her history, like yeah, just put her in there, get her in the mix.
And one more OC news this week is that we saw Vicky filming in Mexico with the
Yeah.
girls, the cast trip. I saw a picture with her and Tamra playing or like walking around the beach.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? I know Tamra blocked you on some platforms. I want to hear that tea too.
Yeah.
But they were hanging out in Mexico. How do you feel about that?
So I loved the Tres Amigas back in the day, and I mean, obviously, I don't think Vicky's like a great person, but I do recognize that she was very good reality TV until a point. Her last couple seasons, though, and still like watching her all weekend at BravoCon on every time they would show her, she just looks miserable all the time, and that's how I felt she was her last couple seasons on the show. She just doesn't seem interested in anyone or anything, and so for me, it's like I want to watch Housewives or even Friends of who are like excited to be there and to be filmed. So, I mean, we'll see. Maybe her energy will be totally different when she's on the show. But just based off of what I saw a couple weeks ago of her, I mean, I don't know if you watched, like, I forget which Watch What Happens Live she was on, maybe the Legends Ball or something. But
She
like
was in Legends Ball.
every time they panned to her, she just looked so miserable. And so that's my thing is like, if you're at BravoCon and like this is the world, like you should be excited about it. If you're not even excited there, then like why do we want you on the show?
I was at the Legends Ball when they were filming, the event, and you're right. out of all the people, you will expect the OGs to be excited because it was supposed to be kind of like in honor of the
Mhm.
OGs.
Yeah,
That's why it's called the Legends Ball.
right.
And oh gosh, first off, when she was asked to play that, squash the beef with Ashley, and then escalated to
Mhm.
Kenny getting involved, and then Teresa getting involved, and Vicky still have this idea that the show is a show because of her. I'm like, no, all the ladies has put a lot of work to make their own franchises worth watching.
Right.
So it's not only Vicky, but
Totally.
also when it came down to the performances. At the end of the night, they had Kenya performing "Gone with the Wind,"
Right.
fabulous. Sheena was performing her "Good as Gold."
Yeah.
Uh, Candice was performing "Drive Back," and then it ends with Melissa performing "On Display," which is I was like, why is she even performing? Like, give this. So many other people had better songs. I
I know.
wanted Adriana Demora to perform
Oh my God.
"Feel the Heat" or "Feel." What was it?
Yeah. Feel the rush.
Yeah, "Feel the Rush."
Yeah, the rush.
That's like one of my favorite Bravo songs ever. I
It's so
play that
good.
song when I'm walking around my house doing stuff because it gets me in the mood of doing stuff.
Yeah, it's so
I
good.
wanted her to close the show. But that song is iconic. Um, but they kept showing, Vicky on the audience, and there was no response, no
Right.
emotion.
Right.
She was just sitting like this.
Well, that's
I'm like,
exactly. And so that's the thing. Like, if she wants the fans to rally for her to get back on the show, then like she needs to be energized. She can't just be like a bum on a log, because then we we don't want to watch that version of Vicky. We want Whoop It Up
yeah,
Vicky.
be
So if we don't,
activated.
right, whoop it up now so that you can whoop it up on OC again.
I
But
100% agree.
I just kind of feel like we're gonna see her. She's gonna be there, and it's gonna be the same. She's gonna be miserable, and she's not gonna be happy, and she's not gonna be whooping it up with them, and it's just gonna be like womp womp Vicky. And I feel like, unfortunately, that's just who she is now. Like, I feel like at a certain point, and we even saw it, like I said, those last couple seasons of her on the show, like she went from Vicky, who was like so hypersexual, and like, remember, she like was giving that lollipop like deep throat blowjob that one time on Tamara's bachelorette party, and like it was always, she had her tits out all the time. And like, I'm not saying that she has to be like that extreme, but I think when she started dating Steve Lodge, he really drained her dry of all of that. Like, she got
Agree.
so conservative in both her politics, but also just in how she presents herself. And I think now she like doesn't know who she is or how to be that like whoop it up Vicky anymore. And so she
Yeah, because even on Ultimate Girls Trip,
yeah, same thing. She was miserable the whole
she was
time.
miserable the whole entire
And
time.
she wasn't fun to watch. I'm sorry, but like, she, out of all of the characters on that girls trip, like she could have gone. No one would have missed
Yeah,
her.
like invite somebody who really wants to be there
Yeah.
to give us something. She was dead in the eye the whole entire time, and I understand that she was going through a breakup. So don't come hard for me. I know breakups are hard, but you are being paid to be
Exactly.
there.
Well, and
Everybody
also,
was excited to be at Dorinda's house or whatever.
right.
Enjoy the time.
Yeah, and if that's all that we're gonna see from you, like, if then expect us to be bored.
That's
Like,
right.
the title of OG of the OC doesn't mean anything if
Anything.
you're not great. Like, you
Yeah.
have to carry that title and be the OG. But if you are just this like boring, miserable lady, that's not what we want. So
I agree
I'm
100%.
hoping that it will be better when she's on the show. I am excited. I feel like the core of OC is back. I think it's Tamara, Shannon, Heather, and Vicky, to me, are like the OC core. And so I am excited to see the four of them together again finally. But yeah, I mean, of all of them, I could do without Vicky for sure.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going from the OC to the snowy mountains in Salt Lake City now,
Yeah.
because Salt Lake City is kind of like a fever dream.
It's so weird, and
It's
I
so
love
weird.
it. It's so weird, and I absolutely love it. Yeah.
I love,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I like it, because it feels like a freaking fever dream where so many things are happening, and they don't make any freaking sense, and you
None.
still wonder like, okay, what's next? Because there's something else. Always there's something else.
Like, imagine if I told you 10 years ago, like, oh, there's going to be this show, and there's going to be this woman who is helping run auditions for a former Mormon's choir while she's awaiting criminal charges where she might go to prison for 50 years. Like,
And that is being harassed by a troll account created by a husband.
And she's mad. Exactly. She's mad about a troll account. Like, it's all so fucking weird. Like, you literally could not write this stuff. But I give Jen Shah so much fucking credit because the way she's able to disassociate from like the lawsuit shit, there's no way I would be able to, like, I see the benefits, I see why she's doing it. She's got to make money. She's doing whatever she can before she goes away for 50 years. I get it. But I could not focus my energy on Heather Gay's choir auditions if I knew it was looming.
Look, and I used to go harder on Jen Shah before because I'm the kind of person who can't look the other way when it comes down to crimes like the elderly and you know, in Erica's case, you know, the victim, the widows and orphans. But I'm gonna say, after BravoCon, when I met Jen Shah, and a couple of drinks were in, and we were talking for like a hot second, I kind of feel for her. Like it kind of warmed my heart because I'm not gonna talk about the conversation in particular. I feel like that's kind of like the whole point of having one-on-one with some people. But the way that she feels about her family, you know, especially, you know, Coach Shah and the kids, and how she's trying to enjoy the little time that she has until whatever happens. I was like, okay, I have to give you some grace, you know.
Well, the difference between she and Erica Jane is not, it has nothing to do with their charges. And I feel like we hear a lot. It's like, why does Erica Jane get so much shit when like she's not even accused of these things? Tom is, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that has nothing to do with it as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not trying to speak for the fandom, but from what I hear, it's not really about the charges. It's about the fact that like Jen Shah is likable, and she, like, there's something innately likable about her, you know. And again, I'm not saying that like the things that she's done are likable, but something about Jen is likable, and you want to sympathize with her, which is crazy because she's batshit and she's flies off the handle. I don't know what it is, but there's something, and some people just have that. And Erica Jane is so unlikable.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I have met both of them in different situations. I met Erica not because I wanted to meet her, but because a friend of mine was a fan of her, and we ended up meeting her for, I think it was a book signing or something in New York City. Cold as an ice, dead in the eyes.
Yeah.
She just wanted to leave. You can tell.
Yeah.
When I met Jen Shah that night, she was engaging. Mm-hmm. She talked to me, somebody who has never spoke to in her life before, like she met me many years ago.
Right.
I danced with her half of the night. My friend Jenny, who runs Jenny Bravo and Blaze, she was holding Jen Shah's heavy ass fur coat, but we were having a good time, and we were all having a good time.
Yeah.
So those two situations to me put a lot of stuff in perspective, because how you treat people in the public eye, especially for a public figure, is what is gonna make people to have sympathy for you and treat you back. I don't care for Erica Jane. I don't care if she treated me like shit or like she was cold to me, but she was cold to somebody who was a fan of her, my friend. Right? There was no interaction, no wanting to talk. She just wanted to leave. When I interacted with Jen, somebody who I went in not liking at all, because what I told you, when I see somebody committing a crime, all I see is the crimes. I don't see the person anymore.
Right.
So that night I was like, I might not be a Shah, what's it called? I don't know.
Squad. Yeah.
Yeah. And I might not be in the Shah squad, but I like you.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like I feel like Jen Shah is a human and she has made mistakes like humans do. I feel like Erica Jane is just a robot, you know? And so again, I like don't relate to that. There's no like human to human connection there. And the other thing too is, and again, I am not defending what Jen Shah did whatsoever.
No, we're not defending that.
She is going to prison.
Yeah, for that, yeah.
Bye. But the difference is she was stealing from people and taking that money and obviously living a very lavish lifestyle. I'm not going to pretend like she wasn't spending a fortune on herself. But you also saw over the course of the show that she was very generous with her friends, with her kids. She would give people a lot of gifts. She was clearly using that money to try and like do like a little bit of good maybe. Erica Jane, the whole thing, it just felt like all of it was just like mine, you know? And still, even with the earrings and with everything, it's like mine. And that's the difference. I feel like Jen Shah got caught up in a mess because she was trying to like live this lifestyle, and part of that lifestyle was having a lot so she could give a lot and like host lavish parties and like spread it around. And maybe that was for personal gain or superficial reasons, whatever. But I feel like other people benefited from it in some way. But with Tom and Erica, it was literally just for them to like hoard all of these riches for themselves.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like putting vanity versus greed. You know,
Totally.
Jen Shah feels
totally.
pain, meaning
Mhm.
like it's about my looks, about these lavish parties and giving dinner to people, like lavish dinners to my friends.
Right.
Well, Jane feels like greed. Like I wanna save this amount of money for myself.
It's
I wanna keep
all
these
mine.
earrings
Yeah.
for myself. I wanna keep everything that I have to myself.
100%.
You hit the nail on that one right there.
Well, and I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but I do have a friend who I won't even say what he or she does, but they work in an industry in LA where they work with a lot of celebrities and particularly a lot of Bravo celebrities. And Erica Jane was a client of theirs recently, like within the past 3 months or so. And I will just say that my friend told me that they had to like pull teeth to try and get paid for their services. Like it took like sending multiple invoices, multiple phone calls to Erica's assistant, like a lot of effort to try and get paid. And this person isn't what this person does. We're not talking like tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking it was probably like a $250 bill.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I'm just throwing that out there.
I mean, I believe it, and that's how it feels like. Especially Erica's case, she expecting people to work for free for her the whole entire time. And I honestly, I'm happy that the season is over because I kind of want to move to a different. That's why I'm more excited about tweeting about all these shows, even though many people don't watch them because obviously there's not that much interaction on Twitter and social media. People don't watch the show. I like Winter House. I'm looking forward to Family Karma. I'm watching Salt Lake City. I'm watching Potomac. And yeah, some of these shows do have some higher ratings than others, but I enjoy tweeting about it because I'm exhausted with Beverly Hills. And that was my franchise. And that's what hurts. It hurt me so much that my favorite franchise became the most like soul-sucking franchise of it all.
Yeah. Well,
I love talking about the Real Girlfriends in Paris. I love that show.
Yeah. See, my favorite franchise is Real Housewives of Orange County. Just like historically, it's always been my favorite. So the past like 4 years has been awful for me because I'm just like, my favorite is such a dud now. Like my favorite just sucks. So, I mean, at least your favorite is still kind of like the top dog at Bravo. But yeah, no, it was definitely exhausting. It's like one or the other. It's either way too much that we just like, it literally drains us dry, or like Orange County the past few years, like not enough. Like where is it? So hopefully when Beverly Hills comes back, they will have reined it in a little bit. We'll have some more fun. And maybe with Orange County getting all of these, heavy hitters back on the show, maybe we can get back to that like juicy orange that we know and love. Because I stand by the fact, I know everyone says like Beverly Hills, New York, and Atlanta are kind of like the top three for people that they think are the best cities. I firmly stand by the fact that I think Orange County seasons like 7 through 11 are the best housewives ever. I mean, that's like Shannon and Heather's first season fighting with each other. That's like Cancer Gate. It's like it's all of that. And those to me, I think that is peak housewives. So I want to get back there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that maybe with the new season, now that Vic is joining and Heather and Tamara are together, hopefully the mess is good. I heard that Heather is having some kind of like issue with like some rumor, and she sold her house in OC for $55 million.
It
Good
was
for them.
the
Higher
third largest like real estate transaction in Orange County history. I read.
history. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Crazy. I mean, just the number $55 million for a mansion is absolutely crazy in Orange County. Because if we talk Beverly Hills, Los Angeles area, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you go to the OC, anything that passes 10 million, $50 million, anything past that sounds obscene.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different type of real estate. You know, the Orange County real estate is different, you know, and when I heard the number, I was like, holy crap, this is like Beverly Hills numbers.
Yeah, no, it's true. A friend of mine from college bought a house in Echo Park in LA.
Yeah.
And he is not by any means or stretch of the imagination like rich or a celebrity or anything. And this house, it's cute, but it's like a little bungalow, like probably 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It was like $1.5 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? First of all, how? Second of all, why?
Why?
Third of all, how? But it's so true. So another friend of mine, she's one of my best friends since childhood, and she's also my attorney. And she was texting me about Tom Girardi yesterday because all California lawyers yesterday got like a long, like 50-page email from the California State Bar, basically being like, sorry, we fucked up with Tom Girardi for the past 25 years. But same thing, she and her fiance were trying to buy a house in LA. And she was telling me that like they qualified for like a $2 million mortgage. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like how rich are you? And she was like, no. It's not that we can afford that. It's just that the banks have to give that much money to people because that's how much the houses cost. They like literally have to give those types of loans because otherwise no one could buy a house. And I'm like, it's fucking wild. It's
and then you get stuck with a $2 million mortgage.
Right. No, it's
the rest of your life.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
Yep.
It is what it is. Yeah. I mean, if you can turn it around and you can sell that little Echo Park bungalow in a few years for $55 million, then more power to you. So
that's right. And that's the power of real estate. Are you gonna watch the show on Netflix, Selling Beverly Hills?
I might. I watched Selling Sunset. I'm like a big real estate guy.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
My parents were in real estate when I was a kid, and so I'm like very much into that. So I'm sure I'll probably watch it.
Yeah, same. I'm probably gonna watch it during the weekend. Talking about Salt Lake City before we wrap this up, I want to talk about the troll account.
Okay.
The Angie and Chris Harrington created. Shot Spose.
Yeah.
And the fact that even though it was called Shot Spose, it was mainly trolling Lisa.
Yeah.
Follow.
Yes.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
None at all. None at all. And then I also don't really get why Jen was so mad about it, given the fact that apparently they like didn't really troll her at all.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. It's so fucking embarrassing. It is so mortifying. Like Chris and Angie should be humiliated. The fact, like it's so embarrassing. But I had a split second where I was like, you know what? If my husband did that in the heat of the moment, yes, I would be mortified, but I'd also be like, oh, babe, you know, like a little tiny part of me would be like, oh, like you wanted to protect me, you know, like it's terrible and so embarrassing. But at least he was like trying to protect his wife. I don't know.
I was having second-hand embarrassment the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Because all I'm thinking to myself is like, you are a 50-something-year-old man creating a troll account to go after housewives. Yes, you feel like your wife is being attacked by the press or something coming from them, but it's, you know what the source is.
Right.
Like You don't have to create this troll persona, which sounds so high school.
Yeah.
Like I don't care for trolling accounts, to be honest.
Oh
I
yeah.
get them all the time, and and I see that you get them too. Oh God,
It's the bane of my existence.
you just gotta laugh it off. You're not paying
Totally.
my bills. You
Totally.
don't put money in my bank account. I don't
Exactly.
care about your opinion. You can say whatever you want. If that will make you feel happy at the end of the day, go for it. I'm living my best life.
Right.
I don't care. I literally put my phone down, and your opinion means zero to me.
Right.
So the fact that this grown ass man thought that it would be cool and fun to create a troll account instead of going to the stores and be like, hey, guess what? I heard that you were talking about my wife. What's up?
Right. Well, and here's the thing too, like a lot of people are saying that like, oh, they're so fame hungry. They like are desperate for Angie to get her snowflake and all that. And I'm not saying that that's not true, but wouldn't it have been smarter if that's what they wanted? Wouldn't it have been smarter for him to just use his own name, or for Angie to be tweeting that stuff under her own name? Because
That's right.
it's going to get a lot more pickup and a lot more attention coming from you guys than it is coming from some random account that has 20 followers, you know?
And honestly, if it was up to Bravo production, I would believe that they would rather have them tweeting this stuff because it shows more character. It shows that you really want that paycheck. Creating a troll account make you look so embarrassing that I don't think any production company will really want to work with you at the end of the day.
Right.
Yes, they have to bring them now because I'm pretty sure they were okay. You need to talk about this, whatever. But as soon as this storyline wraps up, what's next?
Yeah.
Like you are an embarrassment.
Totally.
Next caller. Like,
do you remember when this happened on Vanderpump Rules? When Jax made like a fake account of Raquel and was tweeting about how like James came out as gay and all of this stuff, and then they were able to like track it back to his phone number.
Yeah,
I feel like that was really glossed over, and it should have been a much bigger storyline.
Yeah, I believe so too. Also, I mean, it was Jax, and they were still like young-ish.
Yeah.
Like they were working at a bar.
Right.
They were not people in like a higher position. They were young, having a good time, trying to live their life. And like you said, that should have been looked into a little harder at that time. It was like just kind of like a 2 kind of episode, and just we forgot about it.
They totally brushed over it. They acted, and he kind of just like denied it. Was like, yeah, I don't know, whatever, and like that was that.
Yeah, and that was the end of it. But we are talking about somebody who is a head of a family.
Yeah.
This is like a whole different level of embarrassment.
Yeah, no, it's so cringe. I also thought it was very interesting how Meredith and Seth responded as if it was just like no big deal. Which leads me to believe that they knew about it prior, and maybe they heard about it and then they had to shoot a pickup scene, or maybe they knew about it off camera, and so then hearing about it on camera, they just didn't seem shocked at all, and it was shocking. So it should have been.
I was shocked.
They should have been.
I was watching it like, if I was sitting at that table, I would have left.
Right. No, 100%.
Immediately. 100%. Because I was like, I don't want to be associated with a troll, a 52-year-old troll. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah. Mortifying.
And to end the show in a lighter way, now that we talk about all this crazy in the Bravo world, from Beverly Hills to Potomac and OC, let's end it with a lighter conversation in the Salt Lake City episode.
Okay.
Lisa Barlow and John Barlow talking to Jack Barlow about going to college.
Yes, fudge college, honestly. No, I mean, I don't know what they could possibly expect. I mean, he's kind of a little brat, if you ask me, and they kind of set him up that way, and like it's interesting. I can't tell if it's just how he talks about his brand, Fresh Wolf, or if he truly is convinced that like he created this line, but like that's not what happened. They invested in it, and they put, you know, or they're the money, but like no one in that family is in the lab developing these skincare products. Nor was it Jack's money. Like, he's 16. Like, he didn't do any of it, and that's fine. They clearly are like setting him up for a nice
For
future.
success, yeah.
Totally respect that. But part of that conversation should have been like, hey, we're going to get you set up, and we're going to get these like sources of income ready for you, but we still have expectations on like what you're going to do, you know, like, or they just kind of see it how he sees it, and they recognize like, okay, maybe he doesn't need to go to college, and that's fine. But I just don't get how they're surprised, you know.
I mean, I see Lisa Barlow's side, because my mom and I had the same conversation when I was going to college. You know, from a different perspective, but same sentiment. Like, you have to go to college. Doesn't matter who's making the money or how much money we have put in your savings account. You don't touch that money. That money is for your future, you know. And I feel like I think that that's what Lisa Barlow is trying to tell, you know, Jack. Like, yeah, we invested on your company that you own, basically on paper, and it's your face and your name on it. But that doesn't mean that you can't just like not go to college. You need your degree, and I mean, I nowadays kids believe the college degrees are not necessary. A lot of come from, like, you know, having the information so accessible with the internet and all the stuff that you can learn as you go, and so many platforms where you can you know, show your talent and make a living out of it without having to have a degree. And I can see that. But if you go by real life, a degree still holds a heavy weight on how far you can go.
Yeah, definitely. I just feel like this should have been a conversation before it was time for him to apply to college, or it should have always just been understood. Like, look, you're going to have this business, but you're not going to have access to the money until you graduate from college, or something like that, you know. But who knows? Maybe they did have those conversations, and now he's just like, well, fudge college. Like, I don't know, fudge it.
I just love how he's like, fudge college.
It's the Mormon of it all. It is really cute, you know, fudge college. It's
and he's good at reading too. Like, he was like, I grew up with a mother who didn't cook either. He was like,
and I did understand Lisa's point of view there, just in being like, well, it's not just about like the school and the education and like what job you can get. It's about the socialization and the life lessons and the friendships and all of that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely think he should go to college, just for the sheer purpose of like, get the hell out of Salt Lake City and like go meet some Black people, probably.
I mean, yeah, like, go and explore the world and have friends from different backgrounds.
Honestly, yeah.
You know, and
that's
like,
why he needs to go to college.
My neighbor, their daughter just left for college a couple of weeks ago in September, and for her first year of college. And the first 2 or 3 weeks, she kept saying it was really hard because she's you know, like, very shy person. She's not very like social, whatever. She's focused on her grades and her education, so she felt like connecting with other people was a bit hard, you know. And that's what we told her, you know, when she joined us for my birthday dinner in September. I told her that's part of going to college.
Yeah,
you're gonna find those moments where you feel like, okay, I can't, you know, connect with people, but you're gonna learn how to do it because there's no other way.
Right. Yeah.
You know, this is the moment where you learn how to stand on your own feet and how to face the real world without your parents telling you how to do it. That's what college is really for. That's what I went to college for too. Like, I went to college, and that was when I first realized that I needed to learn how to live my own life without my parents holding my hand to cross the street.
Totally.
You know.
Yeah.
So I agree with Lisa. I feel like if they have the means and the opportunity to go to a college, take it and have the experience.
Definitely. And I feel like Jack Barlow, And probably a lot of these like Salt Lake City kids who are raised in very, very specific bubbles. They need to go to college, or they need to go somewhere. You know,
Somewhat.
if his intention is just to stay in Salt Lake City forever running Fresh Wolf, like he is just going to be the same like douchey little 16-year-old for the rest of his life. You know.
That's right.
And here's
I
the thing:
agree.
I'm not trying to knock Jack Barlow. Most 16-year-old boys are little douchey asshole brats. Like I'm not saying that
I
he.
mean, we were all teenagers at one point. We were all teenagers.
What it is. Like if I were on TV when I was his age, I would have been far more bratty. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like he needs it for sure. Especially because you can definitely tell he takes after Lisa more than he takes after John Barlow. And John is so like even spoken and mellow, and Lisa is like not that way. So I think Jack has some growing up to do, and he will hopefully become a little bit more like his dad.
I agree. And at the end of the day, when the cameras are off, if you don't have that education, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot of these Bravo Lab kids maybe think that because they're on TV, they're gonna have this the whole entire life. And
Yeah.
how many Bravo Labs and Bravo Labs kids have been on the show and we have forgotten them by now.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing, even like the housewives, their careers and their brands fizzle out. So like you think that like some housewife kids brand is gonna like be huge forever? I mean, I don't know. Just like focus your energy in the long term.
So Jack, if you're watching, go to college.
Yes.
And we support your mom telling you to go to college for the experience. That was on point.
Yes.
So
college is going to be lots of fun. It'll be full of Diet Coke. So
and Taco Bell.
Yes. Yeah.
Trust me, you are going to eat a lot of Taco Bell in college.
So true. That's why she really wants him to go to college. Unlimited fast food. Yeah.
There's no gourmet dinner in college. You grab your Taco Bell, you grab your Wendy's or whatever fast food chain. You see your area on the go. Your Chipotle in your car because that's all you can eat while you are in college.
Yes.
That's all the time you have to do when it comes to like finding food. Anyways, this has been amazing.
Yes. I had such a good time.
Anything that you want to say before we close the show? Anything you want to plug? This is your time. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you for having me. Just listen to my podcast. I put out new episodes every Monday. It's called Blonde Hair, Black Heart. You can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. And I recently put out merch, so that's exciting. I have really cute merch, so find it at blondehairblackheart.com.
I love your merch, and I have to get some because I saw the hoodie and I'm like, I want it.
It's so comfortable, and I'm not just saying that. It's literally like the softest hoodie ever.
You heard people, the softest hoodie ever. Yes. So go to blondehairBlackheart.com.
Yes, yeah.
And you will find it right there. Go buy it. The winter is coming. You need comfy clothes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Blake, thank you so much for coming. And I'm happy that we got to talk.
Yes.
Hope you feel better. Please keep me posted.
Yes, I will.
Chitty chatting on the Twitter world. So,
absolutely. Thanks, Eddie.
Have a great day.
Thank you, too. Have a good weekend. Bye.
And that's it for tonight, you guys. We talk about Beverly Hills, Potomac, Orange County, Salt Lake City. On the next episode, I have a special guest that you guys are going to love. So I will announce that for next week. And if you have any question, please leave it in the comment section. I want to answer all your questions live. Also, go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Martini with Eddie. Every Friday, we're going to have a live show with guests. Bravo Labs are coming too. So that's going to be fun. I'm talking to people here on both sides. Bravo Labs are coming. I have somebody ready lined up, and I'm going to be releasing the name of that person next week as well. They are coming in December. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go subscribe, leave a comment with your questions. Go to my Instagram or Twitter. Those are my main platforms, especially Twitter. Even though it's in shambles right now, that's where you can find me the most. and have a great night. Sip on your martini. Good night.